Conference realignment. Is Florida State next? And who would come with them? That second part out, let me explain in just a minute. Lot of kind of like chatter going on out there in the Twitter sphere, in the books of faces, as Aaron calls it, um, where it appears Florida State is not happy, and rightfully so. Right? You go 13-0, win the ACC, and you don't even get a chance to play for a national championship. Now, I get it. The reasoning behind why the CFP committee picked the teams they do makes sense to me based off the criteria that they gave. The argument is that every single year the CFP committee gives different criteria on who they pick, which is an issue, which is why we're going to 12 teams. And if you think it's going to stop next year at 12 teams, then you don't know people, because they're going to argue over 11, 12, 13, and 14 just the same. Now, a lot of people will say, that doesn't matter. Those teams aren't that good anyways, until you're the team that's in 11, 10, 12, 13, and 14, and then you will care, because the argument will be about your team. And sure as I sit here tonight, there will be a day down the road when Ohio State, maybe even next year, might be one of those teams in that category that people are going to argue about, and we'll be right here on the OHIO podcast at 8 o'clock on a Sunday night arguing for our Buckeyes, because we are fans, and fan is short for the word fanatic. Okay, now I got that off my chest. So, that being said, I understand the level of anger, and quite frankly, from the Florida State fan base, and quite frankly, I feel they have a very good argument for their stance. It sounds like that the big money players for Florida State are using this as a springboard to accelerate the talk of leaving the ACC and jumping into the Big Ten. Now, Chris, Aaron, JR, all of you who are watching, and the number watching right now is fantastic. We have 70 people watching right now, guys. That's awesome. Thank you so much. If you would, give us a thumbs up. We appreciate it. Helps out the show. So, we know the Big Ten doesn't like to bring in single teams. Now, they've done it twice. They did it with Penn State. They did it with Nebraska, but they kind of brought Nebraska in because they already had Penn State and they wanted to even the numbers out. We then saw them bring in Maryland and Rutgers. Mistake. We then saw them bring in UCLA and USC. And then they were like, hey, we're going to be good stewards. Oregon, Washington, we'll bring you guys in too. If Florida State comes, here's my question to you guys. Number one, do you want to see Florida State come? And number two, yes or no, if they do come, who would you like to see them bring with them from the ACC or from another division, if you will? And you have to make it logical, okay? You can't be like, Cincinnati. That's not going to happen, okay? Aaron, you get to go first.
I think perhaps one of the obvious answers is Clemson, if they bring them with them. I would like to see also North Carolina, Miami, the U. I would like to see those guys join the Big Ten as well. And it's just simply because it extends our footprint. I mean, if Miami's pretty far south, so I mean, if we're out in Los Angeles, why don't we hit Miami while we're at it? You know, we might as well extend all the way down the East Coast.
JR?
Sorry, I was laughing at that comment.
I like Brian Kelly's caddy a lot. He's over on the Always Irish show a lot, commenting, and I go over there quite a bit. So, I like the banter with those guys. It's all fun though, and they are great people. So yeah, that was good.
The one that makes the most sense to me is Miami. People don't realize Miami is a better academic institution than I think sometimes they get credit for, because you think Miami, you just think party, South Florida, all that stuff. But they really are, a well-respected institution. I'm pretty sure they are AAU. I meant to check that before coming on tonight.
They are.
Yeah, so they are. So that's a big deal for them, and to me, it just makes sense to bring in two from generally the same location. I don't know if you want two from the same state. You might prefer Florida State and Georgia Tech, but just simply for competitive reasons, I would rather see Miami because I think Georgia Tech is not nearly as competitive, in NIL and just on the field as Georgia Tech is.
Chris?
Uh, I think it would be a good move for Florida State to come up. If they do come up, I feel like Aaron mentioned North Carolina. I think that's a good fit. I like the idea of a Boston College who improved a lot this year, and halfway being there gave us a natural rivalry there. Not only that, let's call it what it is. We've been trying to get Notre Dame. Let's bring in as many of their rivals as we can. But ultimately, I think JR is right. Miami's the good fit, and this is why. Miami is a huge television market, and it's all about the money. It's all about getting those TV revenues, and Miami is a big revenue market.
And they have
Miami,
a ton of Coca-Cola.
I wasn't sure where you're going with that at first, Aaron.
I had to pause. I had to pivot. You know what I'm saying? It's all good.
Miami is a bigger market than Tallahassee, television market, yes. But
Much
I
bigger.
don't know if the fan base for Miami is bigger than Florida State.
I don't
The
think
fan
that's
base,
what
I'm with you.
they
I don't
look
think
at though.
no.
I know it's
They're
not
going
what
to
they
look
look
at
at.
the
I mean,
TV.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's obvious not what we look at. We brought in Rutgers,
Right.
but
My high school has
Be
more people in the
careful. There's
stands than they
somebody
do.
here who's a bit of a closet Rutgers fan.
this is true.
Uh,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
I think there was a funny comment. Let me pull this one up, and it's. Let's see if I can find it. But yeah, here it is. Hawaii should join the Big Ten. I would love that. Wouldn't that be a great road trip?
Do you
That is
imagine
definitely a
Hawaii
road trip
playing
that
in
we got to
Iowa?
take, guys.
Hawaii and Iowa. You don't get two more opposite places
In November.
in the world than that right there. Iowa and Hawaii. No, here's what I'm hearing, okay? And this comes from Nevada Buck. I don't know if you guys have heard him before. He was all over the Pac-12 stuff. I mean, all over. And he admitted yesterday that the same insider that told him the Pac-12 was going down and UCLA and USC was coming to the Big Ten before anybody else knew it is the same insider that told him that Florida State's going to leave. They've got the money already. They got the money already there to where they can pay out because what's going to happen is in their contract with the ACC, when they leave the ACC owns their television rights, so they lose that revenue money. But it sounds like that the boosters are fine with that. So, okay, here we go, guys. I got to put it up there.
I feel sick.
Yeah, that's not a good look there, Dylan. No one wants to see that.
He does.
No, he doesn't. The team that I'm hearing that will come,
None of us do, Jay.
the team this show got off the rails in the comments.
Oh my
The team that is coming with Florida State that has the money to do so, okay, that wants to do so is North Carolina. Now, that automatically means that if and when the ACC crumbles, Duke will want to come as well because you have the natural North Carolina Duke rivalry. And the fourth team that everybody obviously talks about is, you're right, Miami. However, what I'm hearing is Miami is going to want to stay with Clemson and go to the SEC, which means we're going to have to probably pick up another AAU school from the ACC if that's the case. Virginia, NC State, Georgia Tech. And no, those three don't move the needle, which means there's one spot if we're going to bring in four, and that spot is in South Bend, Indiana. Now, if they come, they are coming scratching, clawing, and screaming into the Big Ten. They don't want it. But some interesting things there, guys. So